All right, SEO for photographers. Let's jump into kind of the main things to consider when doing SEO for photographers. So as a photographer, your goal, obviously through SEO, is to get more online visibility, which leads to more phone calls, more website visitors, and ultimately more clients. There are tons of other SEO companies and SEO strategists that will focus on things that don't directly lead to those results. So that's important to consider is what's the goal of SEO? The goal of SEO is to actually get real clients. So keep that in mind. So the most important aspect of Photographer SEO is what's called the Google Local Pack. You've seen it a million times. This is what it looks like. When someone types in something like photographer near me or photographer in Portland, what shows up is what's called the Google Local Pack. And that's how people search. Think about it. You know, some family considering doing family portraits, it's probably, put the kids down to bed, watching some Netflix on my phone, scrolling through Instagram, and then thinking, oh, you know what? I do need to look for that photographer. So they go to Google, they type in something like photographer near me or best photographer near me. And the first things that shows up is the Google Local Pack. And I'll do a couple of examples of this. Best photographer in Portland. And you'll see that a couple of folks show up. And then next, what I'll do is photographer near me. And we'll likely get different results. Two different things. So we have these three folks showing up. Kenneth Benjamin Reed, Fritz Photography. And then on this one, we have Fritz showing up again, but these other two folks are different. And so that's just to let you know that where you're located and where the person's searching from makes a difference. And so you can see that Google's pulling information here about this main category for this business here was a wedding photographer. Whereas this is just a photographer. And so that's important to kind of consider there. Getting back into this, the reason why this is so important is this is a tool here called Google Trends. This is from Google, and this is 5 years for the Google search term photographer near me. So people go into Google and typing in photographer near me. How has that changed over the last 5 years? And you can see more and more people are searching for this keyword. And it makes sense. Over the last 5 years, people have started to search for near me searches more and more. Dry cleaner near me, all these different things. And they're even doing it for photographer near me. And so, again, when photographer near me is searched into Google, the first thing that shows up is that Google Local Pack. And how do you rank there? You rank there through your Google My Business profile. It's likely that you have a Google My Business profile. If you don't, you'll want to get one. It's totally free from Google, and it's really, really valuable. That's the only way that you can show up in that maps area. If you do not have a Google My Business profile, you have a 0% chance of showing up there. And so, however, with that being said, a lot of people get Google My Business profiles wrong. When logged into your Google My Business profile, you can do a variety of things. You can change your name. You can change your main category. As we saw, some people's main category was wedding photographer. Some people's main category was just photographer. There may be more categories such as family photographer or other types of photography, nature photographer. And so if you specialize in a particular type of photography, you'd want your main category to mimic that. If you're only a wedding photographer, you should probably have your main category as wedding photographer. And so there's other things that you can do within your Google My Business as well. There are, underneath the info section here, if you were to scroll down, you can change the description of your business. You can add services. So maybe if you do family photography, that could be a service. If you do, baby photography, if you do engagement photos, those could all be specific services that you add within your Google My Business profile. Why is that important? When someone's searching for engagement photographer in Portland, now you've got that listed as a service on your Google My Business, and that gives you a better opportunity to rank. So you want to optimize everything. If you have 750 characters that you can use to write your main description, your main description should probably be 700 to 745 characters, right? You want to add as much detail as possible so that Google understands everything that you do. Writing one sentence of, we offer wedding photography services in Portland is not giving Google much context. You do it for, corporate photo photography. What type of photographer are you? What are the specific services you offer? What are the groups or people or things that you photograph? All of that's really important. There are dozens of other SEO strategies for photographers that we could talk about. I could do a 2, 3, 4 hour video like this talking about all the specific things that you can do. Here are some of them on the page, such as embed your Google My Business on your website, write comprehensive content. I know this is cut off here, but add local business schema to your website, add local keywords to your homepage, name, address, phone number, NAP consistency. For the sake of this video, I'm only going to talk about 2 of those things. And the first one is NAP consistency. NAP stands for name, address, and phone number. And Google pulls your name, address, and phone number from different areas across the internet, such as your Facebook page, such as your Instagram page, such as YouTube, such as Yelp, all of these different Wedding Wire. If you're a wedding photographer, all these different things, Google's pulling your name, address, and phone number. Why I pulled this screenshot is this is from Google's SEO starter guidelines that they've put out to the world. And they really care about trust. You can see I've highlighted trust. And Google talks about trust over and over again. And with trust, one thing with trust is having clear name, address, and phone number across the internet. So if your name, let's say I'm using this person as an example, Sean Carr Photography, Portland wedding and elopement photographer. If his name this is from Google My Business, is this name. However, on his Facebook page, it's just Sean Carr Photography. And then on his Wedding Wire profile, it's Sean Carr Wedding Photography. What Google's seeing is inconsistency. It doesn't know what this business's actual name is. Now, if their address is here, if they've got a different address on Facebook or a different phone number on Facebook, Google loses trust. It says, okay, there's this one name here, one name over there, one phone number here, one phone number there. Google loses trust, and Google's job is to give users the most trustworthy and accurate and best results for them. And so if Google's not going to be willing to rank a business like this because it can't trust it, if it has, different phone numbers, different names, all that type of stuff. So that's one of the very first and most important things that you should make sure that you have as a photographer and focusing on your SEO is NAP consistency. The second is writing comprehensive content. Here are 2 screenshots of clients that we've written content for, and this is what has helped them. You can see when we started out working with them, both of these clients had about 0 visitors from Google each month. This is specifically from Google Search Console, which gives us information about their visitors to their website from Google. And you can see both of these clients are now at between 20 and 30,000 visitors each month. And how do we get them there? We help them do this through particular content creation, writing comprehensive content. You're probably thinking, well, what do I write content about as a photographer? You can write local content, such as, best areas for engagement photographs in Portland. And now there's likely, Kelsey Strauss Photography. She wrote best engagement photo shoot locations in Portland, and she's ranking here. So now someone might go to this blog post and say, oh, Kelsey's got beautiful engagement photos. I might want to work with her and reach out. There are other local type content ideas that you can write about. You can also just write about other information as well, like how much does the average engagement photographer cost, or something like that. These are questions that your target audience is searching into Google. Whatever types of questions, what should I wear? What's the best lighting? What's the best time of year for photographs in Portland? All these different questions. If you answer these, Google will see you as being an authority and the most trustworthy resource in the area, and therefore be more willing to rank you for these types of keywords, as well as just local keywords such as photographer near me. So these are some of the most important things that you can do as a photographer to increase your SEO.